Okay, guys, so this is a grammar lesson. This is the grammar lesson that was in your calendar. The video that you're going to watch is going to be about have to and have got. So that's basically what we're going to be seeing. Okay, so let's start. So we have the modal have got to or have to plus a verb, plus any verb in the base form. Why do we use it or how do we use this? We use have or has to plus a verb to talk about obligation. So today we're going to talk about expressions that help us say or receive obligations. When we speak or write informally, we can also use have got to plus verb or has got to plus the verb. Depends on the subject, right? They mean the same exact thing. So we can say for an obligation, we have got to wear shoes to school, or we can say we have to wear shoes to school without the word got. And it means the same exact thing. We're saying an obligation. We use the negative form, right? Don't have to or doesn't have to talk about things that are not necessary or that are not an obligation to do. For example, you don't have to get up early tomorrow. It's Saturday. So it's not an obligation. If it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we were going to school, then it's an obligation. You have to wake up early. But since it says don't have to, it means that it's not necessary or it's not an obligation. Let's look at another example. Jack hasn't got to clean his room every week. Okay, so we can say Jack hasn't got to clean his room every week, or Jack has hasn't got to clean his room if we're talking about something that is not an obligation. Okay, hasn't got, we're talking about something that is not necessary or not an obligation. How do we know when we use have and when we use has? It depends on the subject, right? So we have to see if we're talking about I, you, we, or they, we have to use have, got to, or have to, and the verb. So have got to go, have got to play, I have got to get everything ready, I have got to, and the verb, right? And if we're talking about he, she, and it, we have to use has got to play, has got to go, has got to listen, has got to clean. Okay? So remember, if we say have to go, it's the same as saying have got to go. Then has got to go. Just two different ways of saying it. And then the negative, I, you, we, they, don't have to or haven't got to. And he, she, it doesn't have to or hasn't got to. Remember, you can review this video as many times as you want. So for questions, I have to start with do or have. It depends. Am I using have to or have got to? If I'm using got to, I'm adding the word got, then I have to follow this structure. And if I'm only using have to, then I have to only add the auxiliary do. So I have, do I have to go? Do I have to go to the party? Do you have to go to the party? And then for he, she, it, does, and has. Okay, and here are the short answers, guys. Yes, I do, or yes, he does, or he, she, it does. Short answers with have to and short answers with have got to. And then we have two observations when we're doing questions. In questions, we have with have to, we use the auxiliary verb do or does, like I just showed you in the structure, right? In questions and in short answers. So, for example, you have to buy lunch at school? Yes, we do. Short answer. So we start with auxiliary do or does. Why does dad, because it's a he, have to go to work today? Okay. And then we also have that with questions with got to, we have to use have or has in the questions first and in the short answers. Yes, we have. Have you got to buy lunch at school? Yes, we have. Okay, guys, so you can watch this video as many times as you need. And remember that you guys had to do exercise number 7, 8, and 10.